Voice test. Voice test.
No, you do the same time. Because the sound will come out in the Zoom microphone. It doesn't hold.
Fifteen, 20 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
That done just big. They will get to go to football game this year, man. Woo-wee. What's the world gonna be like without football?
A terrible place.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I mean, I don't know how to do that.
Right, I'm not sure I'm quite to, I don't know if life would be worth living levels, but it would be pretty awful.
We'll start backyard football league up, man.
I filmed it.
EYFL.
Dude, I can't do that.
You got Bella with you? Bella? Bella not with you today? Okay, fine. Thank you. Bye. Hey, man, you changed my landscape, you take my TC off?
No, and we're live, so microphone's on.
Okay.
Just heads up. I know I was logged in as me, and I don't have that.
We got about 10 minutes.
I just wanted to let it run, make sure if anything was going to pop up, it would hit it before. So far, so good.
This afternoon, and it said when I scheduled this meeting that we've got the free version, and it says that it will time out after 40 minutes if I have more than 3 people. So that probably, it may happen. So if it does, then I'll send out a second invite and then you can join again. So we'll finish up like that. Madam Chairman, I think we're supposed to make a statement that this meeting is being held virtually per the executive order of Executive Order number 16 by Governor Bill Lee. So,
Yes.
What I've asked, and you have your agendas before you and all your information, but I asked for 2 people to appear at the work session this evening. And that's Miss Gregory. She's assistant principal at the middle school. And we've been doing a lot of work with a learning management system, which is Google Classroom. And I think Miss Gregory has a good story to tell you and some good things to show you about some things that she has learned in just the last few weeks while we've been out for COVID that I think is interesting. And then I have Miss Dickerson here to, if you don't mind, Madam Chairman, moving down to the district graduation plan and maybe sculpturing that out. And then that way those ladies can leave us and enjoy the rest of their evening, and we'll go on with the agenda. Is that okay, Ms. Wallace?
Absolutely. Yes, that's fine for me.
All right. So, Ms. Gregory, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
First of all, it's because I am technology challenged. So, I have learned a lot. We've had some, videos, through Google and some trainings that I need to get into a little bit deeper. But tonight I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've learned by getting in and playing with it. By no means does that mean that I know a whole lot about it, but share my, can everybody see that, or is it just me? See, already. Hold up.
It takes me about 4 tries, Amanda.
I know, see, that's why it's a good story. Here, share the screen. All right, Mr. Satterfield, you're going to have to, it says I can't share my screen.
Why can you not share your screen?
You have to pick Amanda the host. You have to go to participants and pick Amanda as the host.
Can I do that, Teresa?
No, he has to do it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna go Amanda Moore, and I'm gonna make her the host.
Right.
Okay,
Yes, okay.
Penny.
Okay, I've learned something too.
we're all learning along the way.
We learned that.
We learned that today. All right, now can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, one thing the teachers have done, and some of these really do not have a lot in them, is they have made me a code teacher. And that way, I don't go in and make any kind of comments, but that has let me go in and kind of play in their box and kind of see what I can see that they are doing in their classroom. So I can go over here, and it gives me, if you'll notice, they name their classes. It gives me places that I can go to see. I'm not going to show you actually class work because there's student names attached to that. But I am going to show you some things that our teachers are doing that I'm kind of proud of. One is, this is Miss Ewan, her 6th grade math class. One thing that she has done as a feedback is she makes videos each week and explains the work that the students had done in their classroom. For example, this is one, and I will start it, but I won't show the whole thing. But what she does is she goes in.
Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to week 6. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me for this last week, and I appreciate all your hard work. I'm so very proud of you. I know that this was a big adjustment for all of us, but we've made it. This is our final week. So this week you're going to be taking the actual practice TCAP test, just like you would.
Okay, and
On to
then
number 7, what is the greatest common factor of 90 and 72? So we had this conversation, and a lot of you got hung up on the word greatest, but we actually needed to focus on the word factor. Factor was our.
all right, so she goes through the whole lesson, and she's done that each week, and that's something has done through Google. Another one that I want to talk about is Miss Larch. Miss Larch is an inclusion teacher, and some of our students get modifications such as read aloud. Well, that makes it very hard during this virtual learning when they're not at school. And so the ones that do have the technology, and we probably need to figure something out, the ones that don't, if we do something different in the fall, is this is chapters in the book that they're reading. And she goes through, and let's look at the one that we did today. For example, this is a Common Lit assignment. Common Lit is something that they use during their English class. And she'll go through.
Fugitive Slave Act of 1793. The Fugitive Slave Act was enacted by the United States Congress in 1793. The act guarantees and declared or shall
And she'll go
harbor.
through, and then she will also read the questions to them.
Question number 3. According to the text, which of the following situations could render a captive?
And that's something that's really good for our students that have that modification, so that we can still take care of that. Let's see. And also, the students that get that read aloud are the ones that she assigns to that classroom. I can go here, and if I click people, that will tell me the 7th grade students that she has in this group that gets a read aloud modification. And those are the only ones that could come into that, the ones that she allowed. And this classwork is ones she is assigned to Google Meets. When she assigns that, those students get an email through their school Google email, and each one will get a notification. And if they kind of like the Zoom, and if they click on that, then they can come in, and she has Google Meets like a Zoom where they can talk as a group. So I thought that was a really neat thing that we can utilize with students that need to get that. Was there anything else you wanted me to show, Mr. Satterfield? I can't remember.
No, I just think, you showed that to us today, and I just thought it was very timely, and I thought our board would enjoy seeing
There's a lot
what you're
to
able
this
to do.
that I just kind of learned how to do this through some of it through our training that we had. I've got to go through a lot more of it, but it's really easy to use, and they keep adding different things to it. Ms. Dickerson, can you think of anything else that would be interesting to them?
Good job. You don't want to get into secret work because of privacy.
Right, I don't want to show any classwork because there's students' names involved with it, but it's really easy for me, like the stream, all the students would be able to see that. Whatever's in the stream, that's where they give, for example, one more, and I know that y'all are short on time, so I won't get into very much, but for example, Miss Young will go in, and if she says, I've only seen a few on iReady today, that goes out to all of the students in that classroom that, hey, I'm checking, you need to get in and get your assignments. If students make a comment there, everyone sees that and they know that. That's where they may ask certain questions. If they get into classwork, that's more private. I'll show one more thing. This is Ms. Walzick's, and nope, wrong one. All the 8th grade show that, have the same names, metaphors. This, if I get into this and get into classwork, I can choose one of these, and that tells me how many students have turned in that assignment and how many have not. If I clicked on that, it would tell me the names. It will tell me what 9 students in that class, not the whole 8th grade, but in that classroom turned in the students in the assignment and how many did not. And if I click on that, it will also show me what comments that teacher has made to the student, the conversation. But only me, the teacher, and the students can, and that particular student can see that. That's not a whole class there. So she can have a comment for Gracie Hammock may have turned in hers. She can make comments to Gracie, and no one else would see that but Gracie. It's just like turning in a paper and getting it on your paper.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I like that.
And as an administrator, that's good if we have to do this virtually in the fall, I can look and go, say there's 2 students not turning in their assignment, that tells me that as well. So this is really good. I would click on it, but there's students' names attached, so I hate to do that.
Right. Amanda, on I don't know if I want to say a scale of 1 to 10 or 100% or what scale I would want to be on, but how engaged would you say the students are?
The ones, well, now you've got to think about the time of year as well. You know,
Right.
it's like pulling teeth at the end of May.
Right.
Now, it would be the week after TCAP testing, you know?
Mhm.
I talked to Miss Young, Tyra Young, her students, she's had over 50%. Now, it's kind of,
Mhm.
this past week or so has dwindled down some, but they also know it's the end of the year.
Right.
Going through and looking at some of the work, a lot of the students I think are kind of enjoying it, but it's new and we don't have 100%, but I
Right.
think Setterfield will tell you during our meetings, we have more than what I actually thought we would.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering. I just wondered how
Right.
you guys
And our
felt.
students were used to the Chromebooks and to Google. And the ones that had technology at home, a lot of them, we gave out over 170 Chromebooks at the middle school. They're used to using those.
Right.
And, you know, we don't have them 100%, but I've noticed that the engagement could be better, but we're not sitting right there with them either.
Right.
But if you look at this classroom here, almost half that class that it was assigned to turned it in. Well, that's pretty good because it's optional. So I think that shows pretty good engagement there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think we have been in better shape because I think we were a little ahead of the curve for a small district,
Right.
ahead of the curve for our technology. I think we have, really tried to work on that, and kids were familiar with it. So that's probably why they're maybe a little more engaged. But I'm excited. I think that bodes well if we have to go fall.
Right.
We're going in a blended environment or online. I think that spells success, that right there.
And I think we'll have more engagement in the fall because we can kind of hold them to it a little bit more. Until you have to think here, some of this class has paper packet. So it wouldn't necessarily be turned in on Google because they have paper packets that we've mailed to them. So those numbers might be a little different too.
Miss Gregory, thank you so much. And I think the thing I want Miss Gregory is how far she has come in her learning to get to this point in such a short amount of time.
A long way.
And then, they say that necessity is the mother of invention. And if there's a bright side to the COVID-19 outbreak and the school closure that's associated with it, we're learning more about distance learning and a learning management tool. And also, this Google Classroom is basically free. Now, the training and stuff is not free, but the platform is free. So I've just been really pleased with all of our administrators and principals and teachers and how far we've asked them during this time for this to be a trial and error, like a little science petri dish. We're going to make some mistakes, but we need to learn along the way and give each other a little grace along the way. So Ms. Dickerson and I think we described it this afternoon as a successful failure is how we describe what we've been going through. So it's been really good. Ms. Gregory, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yes,
It
enjoyed
has
it.
been a lot of trial and error, let me tell you.
That's okay.
That's
What was the guy that we seen one time, guys, we seen him speak and he said, if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing. Y'all remember that? Poorly. Absolutely. Because at least you're trying and you're trying to get to a better place. And I think, I think the only way we fail on that is not trying and trying to be prepared and learn it. So I think y'all are doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
For sure. So
Thank you for being
with us.
Thank you, Amanda.
So the next thing that if you've got your e-board agenda with you down to new business, moving to 6G, the 2020 graduation plan. I know you recall that, and I've got that over there. You recall, let me step over here for just a minute. That when we left in April, that you asked me to run a survey of seniors, and we have done that with 3 possible dates for graduation of May the 29th, May the 26th, and July the 10th. The results are in with 74 respondents, is that 60.81% chose June the 26th, 36.4% chose May the 29th, and only 6.7% chose July the 10th. So almost 2 to 1 is they hit in the middle on June the 26th. Of course, you cannot make a decision about that this evening. You can discuss it. And then I also added another little caveat I thought was interesting, and I thought this was important, is I sampled the respondents on how many guests do they think they should be allowed to
Oh, that was a
bring.
good idea.
Yeah, that was.
The question was, in order to ensure social distancing, how many guests do you think should be allowed per graduate? And I just gave the random numbers of 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 77% said 5, and 20% said 4. So what I do garner from that survey is they need as many tickets as they can possibly get. Is what I got out of that. So that,
Grandparents.
That's what I was going to say, Mr. Kerr. You know, you have a set of
Yeah.
parents, and there's maybe 2 sets of grandparents, so you're going to
That's
still
right.
whittle it down. But I'm glad you asked that, Clint, because that gives us some idea. That would have been our next question right there.
Yeah,
And we
that's what
can-
I
Yeah.
was wondering.
and we can cover that. But what we've done, and I had David to go with me late this afternoon. Mr. Crook, that's where I was when he was trying to get in touch with me. We was still at the football stadium. And so, and I've sent you the Tennessee State Department guidance on graduation a couple of weeks ago for you to be looking at. You also have that in your materials as well. And they were talking about social distancing. And what we did is we looked at the home bleachers and setting guests in every other row, which is recommended. We would have 8 rows, and we could get 41 people across one row, and that would be 328 possible seats of spectators. So, Ms. Dickerson, you have how many graduates? 85?
85, and a couple have told me they choose not to walk. So that gives a little more.
Yeah. So if you gave everybody 4 tickets, would be 340, which is pretty close to that number, 328. So that's a decision you'll need to think about as we go. But I've got the graduation plan before you. You have that in your notes, and we've got Ms. Dickerson, and I'd like to, kind of draft that out or talk about it, as many of these items as we could, to try to save you time on your board meeting on Thursday. So do I hear that we are definitely set? I mean, you'll vote on this on Thursday, but are we set for the football stadium? Is that a go? Is that what?
Are you asking us or Ms. Dickerson?
Yes. I mean, we just.
I think that's what we talked about, and about the rain date. That my only thing about the football stadium is the weather, but I think,
Right.
but I think what Teresa said was a good idea last month was the rain date would be the next day. So surely we could get it in one of those 2 days.
Okay. And then, of course, it looks like the date preference is June the 26th.
Yep.
The next thing-
I think we are all of the same mind. y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to do kind of like with the teachers' calendars is what I'm thinking. I mean, that's all we ask them is what would work best.
Right.
We
I'd like to
certainly
do
want to do
it
what works best.
right for the parents and the students.
Right. Does anybody feel any differently or have anything to say about that?
No, I think that was fair.
Okay.
And then the next one is the time. And Ms. Dickerson, you normally start at what time?
We normally start at 7, but with it being so hot, I think 8 o'clock would be the better time.
What does the board feel about pushing that back? You know, it's gonna be almost July. Pushing that to 8 o'clock for heat considerations.
I think that's,
I'm good with it.
right.
Yeah.
Mr. Kerr, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, you have to take the heat into consideration.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
8
I wouldn't
o'clock
have thought
sounds
about
good.
that. That's a very good idea. So 8 o'clock.
Okay. And you may want to talk about it more, but you know, I definitely think that I would highly recommend that we limit access. You know, it's just not, graduation ceremony is just not open to the general public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that we give these graduates X amount of tickets. But if you don't have a ticket, you can't get in. I don't think we can control the social distancing.
No.
So you're gonna have ticket takers, Clint,
Like a gate, like a football gate is what I was thinking is having.
right? Gonna have all 3 gates open?
Yes, sir. I think that's really important because I think it separates where you come in. I think
Right.
even some of those tickets would have to be designated at which gate. You know, where
Yeah.
everybody don't take a
Oh.
ticket coming in one
Yeah, you
gate
would have to do that.
to kind of
Right.
separate the
Yeah, that is good.
egress. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
it-
Mhm.
Hey, Clint,
Yes, sir.
is the health department gonna be there too?
Well, I have talked to the regional health department, Tim. I can't enunciate his last name. It starts with a D. He's a great guy. And he and I have already talked about this. And this is what I'm drafting out, is a plan to be submitted to the health department to be approved. So the last thing we want to do is be having a program and someone call us and come in there and shut us down. So he said in order to protect the board and the Department of Health is for us to draw a plan up. So that's what I'm trying to do, is draw this plan up and have the board approve it and then send it to the health department for approval. And then if we need to make some changes, we would still have time to do that.
Clint, have you talked to Wilson County or Sumner County and seen anything they may be doing just a little different that's a good idea that we hadn't thought about yet? Or it might not be bad to just check with them.
Yeah, I have not been in contact with those 2 counties. I have been in a lot of contact with the Upper Cumberland districts.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah, and basically these ideas are coming from that consortium of superintendents, you know, about what they're doing.
Good.
And that's what I was asking, but I mean, it feels like we're gonna have to limit access. Is that's what I'm asking. Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that somewhere, if everybody comes, I think that's to seat that 340 number. That number of tickets has got to be 4. Now, if everybody doesn't need those, they could give them away and transfer them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like Ms. Dickerson says, she's got some students who may not walk, you know, then those tickets would be available.
Mm-hmm. What, and this is just kind of us chatting, but if they lifted the social distancing,
Then we don't have,
by
we
that
don't have a
time.
problem.
yeah, anybody, we could open it up to any, right?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure what that option would still be.
And that's a good point, but right now, we can only work within the parameters that we have available
Absolutely.
to us right now.
Right, I agree.
Okay. And then, but I see no need, I'm just passing these ideas out. These are things that we're talking about, Mr. Curry, you know, I see no reason to have assigned seating. You know, I can go up there and take a dot and put on each bleacher seat and
Yeah.
first come, first serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree, yeah.
Maybe, should we do the bottom though for like I don't know, like the elderly, or I don't know, should we, or they just gotta get there early enough to get those seats? It's whatever y'all think. I'm asking the question. I don't
Ms.
know.
Dickerson, I will refer that to Ms. Dickerson.
We've also got to think about, people with disabilities, where they're going to be seated. We probably need to put some thought into that. I don't want to just blurt out because I'm not sure.
Okay.
Right.
I'm right in a handicap area. Ms. Dickerson, I'm right.
Could anybody in a wheelchair use the football field itself, say on the, that would get them down there? That way you don't have to try to get them up a ramp or anything, and they could be off to the side.
I like that much better. That's
I do
a
too.
good idea.
They wouldn't be sticking out for their chair, sticking out for somebody else to trip over.
Right.
I'm
got
familiar
plenty
with
of
those
grass.
wheelchairs.
You can take it from me, since I'm handicapped, that would be ideal to be on the field. Yeah, because I would feel like I wasn't in anybody's way and it would be easier for me to maneuver, my electric scooter, if I came, I would want to be down on the field where I wouldn't interfere with other people. So that'd be a good idea.
And what we could do, Clint, is you might tell the parents they need to make it known how many handicap, or, since we're doing tickets, they could let us know how many handicap accessible people they're bringing.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea.
That's a
Yeah,
good
that
idea,
is.
Aunt Teresa.
Yes.
And they may
And I
all
know-
come in, all come in one gate or something,
Yes, the closest to where they would enter the field. That would be very good, yes. And I was gonna say, Teresa, I know you're working with a limited staff, but, I think I would be happy to help work a gate, if that's something the board could do for you. I think we would be happy to do that.
Yeah, I would too.
Thanks. And I think my faculty would volunteer as well.
I've got a little experience taking up tickets, so
I know. I've done it a time or two.
Me too.
Yeah.
That might just be something good for the board to do. Would y'all want to do that?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
If Teresa's got staff and the kids want to see their teachers and stuff, they don't want to see it. They don't necessarily want to see us. I think we'd be better if we're an emergency, if she needs us.
Okay.
Let's leave that up to Teresa.
I like that plan better.
You'd have to come out from under your rock, Mr. Crook.
Yeah, that's right. Tell him, Regina.
Okay, so the next question is discuss wearing a mask. Is a mask need to be a requirement?
Isn't that a health department decision?
It is, and I've got to try to get our plan through. I would say it's probably needed. That's my notes on that. I was just, again, things may be different by the end of June, but I'd say if we had graduation right now, that everybody should wear a mask.
Right.
What about the graduates?
I'll let y'all tackle that one.
I'd be more apt to just say that we recommend a mask, especially for those with underlying conditions.
Right.
I'm kind of hesitant to tell people they have to.
And that's what I was going to say, Mr. Kerr. They're not telling us that like at Walmart or, when you're out in the public anywhere. It's to respect the social distancing. But, even with the heat and somebody with a mask on, it could be. But I mean, I have to wear one every day. So I've about got used to one just like underwear, but not everybody else has.
Right. I would say we recommend it, and recommend it strongly for anyone with underlying conditions.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Anybody
I
else
like,
have anything?
I'd like to hear what Teresa might say.
Oh, I think the recommendation, and plus we gotta think it's June 26th, how hot it's going to be.
That's, yeah, it'd be kind of smothery.
Most people's got any kind of health problems will be wanting to wear one.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
And
Clint,
if they would provide it, do we need to say that they would need to provide their own mask?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but you know, some people show up with thinking that you're gonna provide them. So we just want to be clear that if they need one, they need to bring it.
We don't have.
Hey, Clint.
Yes, sir.
what do you think about, like, for a football game, we asked the EMTs, maybe they could have an ambulance there. We could have somebody there on hand just in case something happened, and maybe even the civil defense help with the parking and stuff, like they, kind of treat it like a football game. And just that way
Ms. Dickerson.
that way we're just
We can make that
prepared.
happen, can't we?
Oh, yes, we've done this planning plenty of times.
Well, I'd just rather us be prepared and
Right.
nobody be
That's a
able
good
to say, that we weren't ready.
Right. Yeah, we can do that. And they'll come, they'll help us.
And Teresa might want to have a concession stand and make a little money.
I have actually said that to Blake. I mean, I'm sure people want something to drink, don't you think?
Exactly.
How does it be?
Exactly.
You can make a fortune on water.
Yeah.
Yes.
The cheerleaders might want to sell water. They always need money.
Sure.
That's right.
Okay, I'm moving right down my list really well, and I'll type all this up and have a plan for you on Thursday night. I'm just capturing, what you want to do. Okay, now some of this might seem outrageous, but I still need this, because there are schools that are doing this.
Hey, I do have one thing to add that we didn't put on our list, Clint, and that is programs. But rather than having somebody hand them out, we'll have them in a box and they can just pick them up at each entrance. That way nobody's handling it.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That was a Cecilia Stricker idea. She's a senior sponsor this year. She's been really helpful.
Okay. The next one I have, and this is happening in some places, but I don't know if it's happening in June, but some people are doing temperature checks at the gate.
I vote.
Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know. I think if you're going to go to lots of extremes, you might as well insist they wear a mask. I mean, at that point in time, if they're not aware that they are exhibiting symptoms.
Right. I'm just trying to, Mr. Kerr was asking, have you talked to other districts?
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that I'm just putting
That
before.
some other districts are doing.
Yep. Fentress County said they were doing that.
We're still taking our temperatures at work every day. We're still, check in. That's the first thing you do before you have to come in the building. But
We are too, and we're having to do it 3 times during that when we first come in, and then middle ways, and then at the end.
oh yeah,
Yep.
mm.
The next thing is like we were talking about, the ingress, that based off of these numbers of tickets, they would come in one of these 3 gates. So we would control the ingress. Everybody don't come through the same gate.
That's
Nobody
good.
has- Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, let me ask you about this. Ms. Dickerson needs some help on this. And I don't know if we can do this, but it would help, is the egress or the exiting of the stadium. If we had like somebody that could be like the master of ceremonies, and we could let one section dismiss at a time instead of everybody bottlenecking. Is that beneficial?
How many do you think we would have at a typical, like a big ball game? Would we have about 300?
Oh, you could have 2,500 at a foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if we ask like the first section to dismiss first and hold the other 2 sections until they are toward the gate, then let the second one go, and then let the third one go, I think we could help our social distancing a little bit.
Also, it might be better to instead of doing sections, Clint, what if you did, let them go by the gate. That way everybody's going in the same direction. Because if you just do a section, everybody's going to be going still in different gates.
I think
But
that's
if
a
you
good
said at
idea.
this time we
Yeah.
dismiss, our main gate or our creek bank gate or however you want to say it, but that would have everybody moving in the same direction. That might be a little bit more organized, like cattle
Okay.
or cats, either one.
All right, the next one is, and I've got to lean on Miss Dickerson about photography and bottlenecking for photography. Now, obviously, you're going to have,
Art Griffith, I've already spoken with him, and he's put us down for that night.
okay,
In case the pictures, they come off the stage.
right. But at the end, the graduates will be on the field and be fenced in, but we will not be letting people rush the field to take
Oh, no, no,
pictures,
no.
right?
We can't keep social distancing if we do that.
Right.
Right.
But we will have our photographer and they will have pictures available.
They will, and that we will designate a place for them to throw their hats too.
Okay. The other thing is, board, I'd like to talk to you about, I think we're gonna have to have a restroom monitor to be sure that we only let so many go into the restroom at one time so that it doesn't bottleneck. What are your thoughts about that?
Say that again, Clint.
Well, I can only think about a football game. You know how everybody has a mad rush for the restroom?
Oh, okay.
And having a monitor stand outside the restroom and say, we only allow 4 in at a time, and when one comes out, the next one can come in.
Right. They could also monitor cleanliness or any needs that it might need as well.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
Then we better have a janitor there.
Yeah, I think it would need to be monitored as far as, toilet paper and hand soap and that kind of stuff just as well as, but I think the same person could do both jobs.
Well, I'd have to have one monitor at each restroom to control entrance.
Right.
Right. So somebody would have to be, but I do think a janitor available if we could.
Got a janitor.
Josh,
I think we can get our SROs to work each gate. We've got 3 SROs. I'd work with the sheriff to do that. Is that?
Sure.
That'd be good. I think that'd be good.
And Ms. Dickerson, you feel like you can get some gate workers?
I do.
Okay. In closing, I only have 2 other great ideas or topics, I guess. And I don't know if we can do this. This might be a question for Andy. But for those who cannot be in attendance, I think there's 2 options to talk about. And one of them, the simplest would be, is see if WTNK might be interested in broadcasting the graduation live, like a football game.
That's good.
I think if at least we could do that, but now everybody's into technology and streaming it live. But if we couldn't
put
do
it
that,
like the mayor puts the county meetings on, I think it's Facebook Live. Couldn't we do that also?
Well, that's my next question is to live stream. But, I don't know where we can set the camera up. Is that going to be in the press box? Have to go all the way down the field? Is that going to be, I don't know how to.
I think they should have. Well, I think you would want it to have a real good shot of the stage so people could see what's going on stage and then see the graduates as they come up and get their diploma and that type of That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
is the graduates.
I think my question is more around the technology and what it can do. If we don't have a TV camera like they use on the news on 2, 4, and 5, we just got simple technology is where I got to set that camera so that I have a good video image and it still be worthwhile. That's
Well,
something
maybe
I'll just
since we got a few weeks, maybe Andy could go down there and do some trials and see what,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if you have if it's like a cell phone reception thing or something, you know, and you may not have good reception, I don't know. Maybe he could do a few trial and error type things or something. Check it out.
Okay. And what I'm saying is, but either or a live stream or a radio broadcast, but something for the people who are not
Maybe even both.
Okay. And I'll talk to Andy and my good friend Cheese about that.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Is that good?
That's good.
Is there anything else we might have left off?
That's what I was looking at. I was just looking at Cecilia's list. The logistics of setting it all up, there's got to be a lot of planning there and getting everything down there. I'm worried about a sound system.
Yep. And we can get Mr. Davis down there and try to help us with that.
Maybe we could rent one for the night.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're available.
Yeah.
We definitely want a good sound system so everybody can hear and.
Right. And Ivan's the best one for that. He knows that stuff.
Yeah.
He
Okay,
probably
one
got
question-
something to rent.
One question I had was, you know, what about, I know the parents can't go out and take a picture with kids, but is there going to be anywhere that maybe there could be a photo opportunity for the graduate and their family? You know, I think as parents, you think get a picture
and grandparents.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But that's just one thing that came to me.
Well, that's one of the questions that I was asking about photography, and the graduates are on the field and they're fenced in, and then we try to release those sections. I mean, that's what I'm asking. What are we going to try to do and allow? Because all of a sudden, as you've got 85 graduates and you got, you know, at least 4 per family that's trying to hang around to take pictures, it could be defeating the purpose of what we're trying to do to start with.
You'd have to have your SROs there controlling getting on the field and then getting off and getting back on. It would be very time consuming.
Yeah. And
maybe they just got to take them before. You know, that's what I'm asking the question. Do we need to, you know, but
yeah,
that there will.
Before would be more logical. What do you think, Ms. Dickerson?
Well, I'm like you, Clint. I think we're defeating the purpose if we set up somewhere for people to get in close contact to make pictures, because that's the whole deal. We're trying to keep people apart. And I'm so disappointed for this group of seniors, because they're a wonderful group and they're having to miss out on so much of their senior year. But hopefully the families will make pictures before they get to
we might want to make sure parents know that, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, we will. And what we'll do is we will build a letter or some type of flyer that we will put out weeks before graduation to let them know what the protocols are.
Good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yep.
Okay, I will set this up and have this before you on Thursday then. So thank you for your work. Ms. Dickerson, anything else on the graduation plan?
I can't think of anything else. It was fun watching them pick up their cap and gowns. They're excited. And that went well.
I have a question. One of my senior friends, a girl that's a senior, asked about, since they're not able to have their rewards day, their senior day, would there be mention of each individual person, the awards and stuff that they received at the graduation ceremony, or what's your plans for that?
We're doing a video on May 22nd, and Ben and I will be announcing scholarships. And then hopefully that's going to be included in the program. And then we do some recognition on graduation night as well.
Right. Okay. But that question just came up to me after our last board meeting, and I said, well, I'm sure there'll be some plan to get that done. I said, right now we're all treading uncharted territory, so we're just, you know, but they do deserve that honor. But I'm glad you do have that set up to do that. So that's great.
Have you seen the Facebook pictures that are up now of all the seniors?
Yes, I
Yes, they're
have.
very nice.
Yes,
Very nice.
yeah, I'm glad of that, yes.
Soon we'll be putting up the video that we show on senior day, their cap and gown, their formal picture and their baby picture and the music to it. We're going to stream that on Facebook and the TC Schools website, and that will start probably sometime next week. And then at our school, we have the names scrolling on our sign of all the graduating seniors.
And I saw that. That's really neat. I like that.
That's good.
I like to
Good.
see the name. But we're trying to do as much as we can for them.
Yeah, they deserve it, for sure.
Yep. They sure do.
All right, Ms. D, you're welcome to stay with us, but before we do, you might have to help me be sure that I unshare the screen. So Amanda is the host.
So go back to participants and make yourself the host.
Go back where?
The participants, go to the bottom and go to participants.
Hold on. Well, I don't see that anywhere.
When you take your mouse down there, it doesn't show you? Or maybe it's up at the top of your screen. It's on
I
the
see
bottom.
me. Can I go to me? Go more? Yeah. Well, no. I go to Amanda, don't I?
Well, is it showing you as host or Amanda?
It shows Amanda as the host.
Okay, she
So how
might.
do I unhost her?
Do I need to go back and change, Mr. Satterfield?
Oh, yeah. Could you do that? Go could you do that. I'm glad you're still there. Thank goodness.
I've been listening.
Can you do that?
Working on it.
Because it says that you're definitely the host.
There you
Now
go,
it
Mr.
says-
Satterfield.
It's you. Says you're the
Hey,
host now.
look, I did good.
Yeah, way to go, Amanda.
See, I was locked out. I was locked out because the ball was in your court, so to speak, wasn't it?
Listen, Miss Denise, I've learned a lot.
Well, you're gonna have to teach me.
That makes a good teacher, right? When you have to
That's
learn.
right. That's right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, can y'all see the e-board screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. All right, I'll try to hit on this as quickly as possible. I wanted to see. Hold on a minute. Give me just a second. Yes. Yeah, we can do that. All right, we have got consent agenda. The first thing is the approval. This is textbook adoption year. And we are recommending that we adopt the same materials that we've been using for the last 3 years. We just want to renew those. We're using core knowledge, language arts in grades kindergarten through second. And we're using EL or expeditionary learning education for grades 3 through 12. So what we're asking is a continuation to do that. And I tell you what, I am let me get to a better place here. I'm going to get to, let's get into the join meeting version. I was in the edit version. You can see this better. It'll come up. Yeah, we're much better. Okay, so that's the language arts. The next ones, and I don't have to bore you with all these budget amendments. You can see them, but what I wanted to do was go over the ones that have to go to the county commission just to be sure if anyone asks. And if you don't mind, I'll do that, but I'll come back to any budget amendment you want. If you go to 2D, 2D, hold on, let me see what those are. I thought I listed it. Let me get to another. No, it changed. Here we go. Okay, 2D changed a little bit because some things got moved around. All right, this budget amendment is for alternative instruction. It is $71,150. And that budget amount, let me go ahead and open that, is for $9,300. And then that is because we needed a little bit more money for that salary and added a spouse to the insurance plan. So you see that's where that goes up. The next one is vocational education, $71,300. There was not enough money budgeted originally for that, and that added for $505. So you can, they would take some money out of medical insurance and apply it toward Medicare. The next one is $72,120 health services. And I think that's the coordinated school health piece. And what this is this is new revenue. This is not an expenditure, but Kathy this is CHS. She got a little bit more money on that. Oh, no, that's not right. Hold on. My agenda wasn't marked right. Hold on a minute. CSH. Yeah, this is it. It was just a grant for $239.15, and you can see where it entered under other state funds, and she applied it toward instructional supplies and materials. We go down to around P. P should be 72,320. Somebody's getting a phone call.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. This one is we need to budget. We needed $3,200 that we took from unemployment, and we needed $200 for office supplies, and then our workers' compensation insurance cost $3,000 more than it did in the prior year, and we had to move that money for that. The next one is $72,410, and in that, you know, this gets into a few things where we admitted our board retreat in January, and each one of our school principals had done an extensive needs assessment. And this budget amendment is required to buy 2 copiers and 2 risographs, both for the elementary school. Mr. Kerr, she's asking to have one of each upstairs for the lower grades and one each for the for the upper grades.
They need that. They use that probably more than any other school. Of course, you got half your teaching staff in that one building.
Right. Oh, I think it's a good idea. I'm just letting y'all know what that is for. The next one is $72,620. $72,620 maintenance of plant. And what has happened, we just had to have more money in this line item because we've had some unforeseeable expenditures. Magnolia Tree Service has had to remove some trees because of storms over the years. We had to work on air compressors, both at the middle school and the elementary school, and our heating and cooling units, our HVAC. We had mandated water testing this year at $3,400. We had to repair smoke alarms at our schools by the fire marshal, per order of the fire marshal, about $4,000. Remember, in the fall, there was a section of the elementary school that we had to repair, That was $20,000. If Miss Dickerson is still on the phone, the fire alarm system is presently non-functional, and we are spending $15,000 to replace the fire panel at that school. And then we've had numerous drain repairs that's totaled $4,800, basically at the middle school. So that's where that need was. And then the last one is the capital outlay budget amendment. And these are the things, again, that we talked about that we had at the retreat. We had to move $60,000, and we already had $100 budgeted for the first payment of the middle school roof. That has not taken place, so we moved those funds to capital outlay, and this is the Cope architectural fees. It's a little bit less than $60,000, about 57 something, but that's what that's there to cover that. And then we are buying the furniture request, cafeteria tables at the elementary school, student desk and chairs at all three schools, the water fountain filling stations at the middle and the high schools, and the atomizers. This is a COVID-19 thing. These are these disinfecting guns that we can go into classrooms and spray down our classrooms at the end of each day, and also our buses after each use. So we're trying to get these things ordered where we'll have them at the beginning of school. And then the middle school, sort of in that furniture area, is that when you come in, is replacing their reception area furniture. They're buying the same furniture that the high school got a couple of years ago. So those are the big ticket items on those budget amendments. Are there any questions about any of these?
I got one, Clint.
Yes, sir.
The downspouts, what was the amount that you spent on that?
Downspouts where, Mr. Crook?
You said you had some downspouts or something to the fact
No,
that
it
you,
was the roof. It was a roof repair at the elementary school. It's about $21,000 we did in September. It was
Right.
leaking around that cafeteria area on that spray foam roof, and we had to do a tear out and replace a section of that spray foam roof.
okay,
The board approved that in the fall.
right,
We had an emergency purchase on that.
okay.
Okay? That help you? All right. Then the other things that we have added, and of course the budget amendments take care of all this, is the a Chromebook bid. Then Andy's received all these bids. They're in hand. All the documents are here for you to look at. We recommend going with Howard Technology. It is the cheapest of the three bids, and that's for 250 Chromebooks. Getting ready for next year. We may be able to use some of our left me for a minute, our CARES Act money to buy that at some point in time, but we have not received the application yet. The next bid is for the NUC NUC computers. Probably the only people might have seen these are Mr. Kerr. Mr. Kerr, have you seen the little computer boxes that are black that looks like your two hands put together? Have you
Yes,
seen those in computer labs?
I have.
That's what that computer is. And those computers are being put in the high school credit recovery lab. And this is a place where they take a lot of ACTs and do credit recovery. And he's recommending the low bid of $6,900. And there's 20 of those. And excuse me. He asked that we go with the best bid of $6,900. That's a little bit over the SHI of 6780 because it's the best bid because these units are pre-assembled plus they have a 5-year warranty.
Oh, okay.
So this is why he's asking to go with the best bid on this particular item.
Sounds like it is the best.
Yep, with the
Yep.
warranty.
With the warranty, that's what you need.
Yep. And then the next one is the server bids. Andy said in order to add these Chromebooks and do the work that we're getting ready to do, that our servers are kind of on their last leg. And these are 2 servers for the middle school and 2 servers for the high school. That's where they've had the Chromebooks for years. And,
Clint, while we're talking Chromebooks, do you have a pickup date where the kids will bring them back?
next week.
Okay.
And they're on our website, Mr. Kerr. I don't know exactly what those dates are. I think Ms. Dickerson's is Tuesday and Wednesday, or Monday and Tuesday. And I think Mr. McCall's is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But they're on our website. It'd be interesting to see what they look like when they come back.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
I'm going to be positive about that. Hopefully, we can learn something from that. But the server bid is the low bid of $17,822.52. Again, that's the low bid. Another thing, this will be bought with federal money, is does somebody have a question? Okay. The classroom projectors, those short throw projectors that's in those classrooms, is some of them need replacing. We're ordering 25 for the middle school and high schools, going with the lowest bid of $36,000 for 25 short throw projectors. And then the special ed department needs not Chromebooks, but laptops. The Chromebooks not allow them to take the ACT, and there's some other things that Chromebooks won't do that special ed students need. And these laptops are not going home with students, but are used in special ed classrooms. So there's 30 of them to go to the high school. And again, Andy's asking for the low bid of $23,520. The last,
Clint, look, can I ask a question? All of this technology and stuff, it's already in our budget.
Yes, ma'am.
This is, okay, all right.
and the budget amendments allow us to make these purchases. And we're trying to buy them now so that we'll have them in during the summer. If we wait to July 1 to purchase these things in next year's budget, we won't have them in time for the start of school.
Right. I was just wanting to make sure that they were in this year's budget, that we,
Yes. And they're all reflected in the budget above. And then the last one is teacher laptops. One of the things, I don't know if Ms. Dickerson's still with us, but one of the things you saw when Amanda was training today and our teachers are working from home is some of them don't have the devices that they can video themselves, So what we're doing is we've got some money left that we wanted to buy as many as we could with the money that we had remaining. And we can buy 16 at this time. We will probably have to buy more in the next budget year, but this is all we could buy right now. But those are laptops so that teachers can do the voice over the lessons and do videos from home in case we are not able to be at school every day next year. So, any questions about anything in the consent agenda? Again, all those documents are there. If you have any questions, there's explanations on each one of them. And if you have any questions, please contact me. So we ain't cut out yet. What time is it?
7:10.
So we
yes, 2 minutes after 7.
Okay. I think we're doing all right. I thought it was going to drop out on us. So we're doing good. And of course, any of these items y'all can move to consent except for the budget. You cannot move the budget to consent. It has to have a roll call vote. But I want to open up the budget. I want to say that the workings with the county commission, Chairman Jewell and Mayor Chambers has been very good, very positive, very cordial. We sat down not physically, but virtually with their bookkeeper and myself and our bookkeeper. And we went over the revenue side and we agreed to the revenue side. And then they took that to Budget and Finance last week, and Budget and Finance approved the revenue side, which by law is what the county commission is responsible for. So they're just waiting for the board to pass this budget, if it would be your pleasure, and we can get it to them on Friday, May the 15th, and then they would have to get it to the full county commission by May the 26th in passing it. Just want to, if you can see this, I don't know, that looks small to me. Does that look? Oh, that's better, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mark
That's
that.
much better.
Yeah.
The current property tax rate, they've actually included the $40,000 for the non-certified raises of 2.5%. That actually passed Budget and Finance unanimously. We had no dissenting votes to that, so that I think that's gone over real well. As you can see, the local option sales tax, again, we work with that with each other. You know, we actualized, we expect to bring in about 700,000 this year. Of course, that's less than the prior year, but we're estimating that because of COVID-19 and decrease in business. But we agreed that for next year, that revenue may be somewhere, about $60,000 less than what we anticipate. But that's a number that we agreed upon. And then, let me see here. And you've got this for you. Let's see. I got more than I can shake a stick at here. I may get out of this. It's going slow. Let me see here. Okay.
We just need the highlights anyway.
Yeah, sir. I wanted to show you this. I want to get to page. I want to get to page 7. See if 7 will come up. And I think this is really positive, and I want to be sure I highlight this. We have done a lot of work with the SROs, and about those substitutes, and they're being out for whatever reason and not having a substitute. And one of the things that the commission and the sheriff did is they added money to the sheriff's side of the budget to pay for substitute officers when the SROs are not in school. So that way it's full protection.
Yay!
Oh, it's huge. And I called Ray the next morning and gave him a personal big thank you for that. And the county commission had no problem with that. So the only increase to that line item is just because of the raise that police officers will get. But those substitutes are reflected in the sheriff's budget. So we really appreciate the help that we got there. The last thing that I wanted to show you is page 9. If you're following along with me, this is something with us going to our distance learning, our blended learning. I asked Miss Catherine, who oversees the technology department, and Andy, to talk about is we add Chromebooks to the 4th and 5th grade. As we add Chromebooks to take home, do we anticipate more breakage or repairs, needing more help? Now, Andy's in the next room thinking this, and I don't see him, but I think he would nod this. Miss Catherine went to him and asked him, did he think he needed any more help? And Andy, being the worker that he is, said he didn't think he needed any help. And but what we wanted to do was put a little money in that line item for an assistant, and that's at an educational assistant rate. But we do not want to fill that position at all. And if we get down into the year and we feel like we need some help, then the board has already created this position. But it's not something that we're looking to go out to fill. The only question that when we went through this with the county commission is some commissioners didn't think it was enough. And I'd say they're probably right. But if we get halfway through the year and we need it, it should be enough. Any comments on that? This is the only thing that's different in this second preliminary budget. This is the only line item that's been added from the one you approved last month. So I want you to be sure that you understand this one line item here.
I'm good with that.
Mr. Kern?
I think it looks good.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
The last thing is always the bottom line. And this is something some people don't want to talk a lot about, but it has to be said, is we know that in FY19, we ended with a $3.9 million fund balance. We are estimated to be at about $3 million this year. Grant you that we had money from we had debt, had expenditures to FTM for the work that was on the elementary school that we still have to pay, and the architectural fees that we're still dropping. And then next year, we don't have any major projects planned. And then we're moving to a $1.8 million. So there may be some savings in here, but right now our estimate is our fund balance has gone from 3.9 to 3.0 to 1.8. And this is the whole conversation that we've had about the commission paying for the middle school roof and those items. So I just ask that everybody be aware of that. But again, the only line item change is to that assistant, is to that technology assistant, excuse me. The next item on the agenda 6B is the blended learning plan. One of the things that I think it merits that we look at is, I'm trying to blow this up again, is everything that we've talked about doing is here. And you can see that we had to build this goal so that we could tie federal funds to it. So you see a lot of this goal is going to be propped up with federal funds. So when we're working on our technology and expanding student devices, we're looking at spending around $200,000 of our CARES Act money to do that. That's not general purpose money. When we're looking at building video capacity of buying classroom cameras to put in every classroom, we would do that with Title V and Title IV funds. Our learning management system, what Ms. Gregory showed you tonight was Google Classroom, and Google Classroom is virtually free, but we have put in about $2,000 for training. And that's where the expense will be, but that's nominal for what we do. And then Again, the ongoing professional development, what is that, about $10,000? The next thing that we have to do is this methodology of pedagogical training, is that teaching our teachers how to work simultaneously with Google Classroom and face-to-face. So it's a blended learning, so that we're teaching students face-to-face digitally, same classroom on the same day. And that way, if we ever miss school again, or we don't get to start, then we'll be 100% in the digital bucket, like you saw Miss Gregory show you today. Research tells us that students learn better using computers and technology. So again, COVID-19 has been a blessing in the sense that, again, that it's the mother of invention, and these are things that we're working on now. And by passing this plan, we're able to tie a lot of federal money to our work. Questions here?
I don't have any.
Okay. The next thing is very great. It's not every day that you get to recommend teachers for tenure. We have 4 teachers up for tenure this year. And just for anybody that's listening in the audience, is remember the minimum requirements for tenure is they have to complete 5 years of evaluations. And in their last 2 years, they have to be performing above expectations, which is scoring a 4 or a 5 level of effectiveness, with 5 being the highest. We're proud to say that Jenna Cawthorn, a 3rd grade teacher at the elementary school, qualifies. So does Miss Kristen Kirkland, a math teacher at Trousdale County High School. And then Ryan Sleeper and Heather Smith, both are history teachers at Trousdale County High School. And you can also see in your documents that you can also see, and I won't open that for the public, but you can see their last 2 years of evaluations, and they're also their value-added results were applicable. So, and Miss Dickerson wrote recommendation letters on all 3 of her teachers, and you can read those. These 4 teachers come to you for tenure, being highly recommended by both their principal and myself. Any questions or comments here?
I think it's great that we've got that many coming in 1 year.
Exactly.
Me too.
And also we'll have to say that all 4 of these started at the same time. They have taught with us 5 years, and they are eligible for tenure at the earliest they could be. So I think that speaks well of those teachers as well.
Yes.
It does.
The graduation plan, you have worked that out tonight, and I'll have that typed up and replace it for you on Thursday. And you've also, I know you've been reading the graduation guidance from the Tennessee Department of Ed. You've had that for a couple of weeks to be pondering over. The next one is the football stadium, and I've talked to some of you about this when I've seen you. And since our meeting in March, we gave you these documents, this study by Bleachers and Seats, and very little of those, I mean, nothing in those documents has changed, and we'll open that up in a minute. But what we didn't have, let me open that up now. Let me see if I can get to page 18, and let me blow that up. Is what we were talking about, if you remember, is we were comparing doing an entire tear out and doing a new stadium and doing a retrofit. And when we looked at comparing all new versus a retrofit and reducing the visitor size to 742 seats, that the cost of that would be $426,000, $426,093, which would be a savings of $131,412 over building new. Yes, that would be a savings of that. But here's what we looked at. When we talked the last time, we did not know what the demolition would cost or what the concrete pad would cost if we went with new. But on the other side, if we did the retrofit, we didn't know what the cost of the sandblasting and the painting and the and working on the concrete pier on the visitor side. But we did not have these parties, so we didn't know exactly what the difference was. So Bleachers and Seats went back and did an estimate on giving us a turnkey estimate. So what they said, they came back, and you got an email that's the very first page of this packet. On March the 24th, they sent us an email and said they could do a turnkey, complete demolition, put in a new concrete pad, put in new bleachers for a turnkey job of $636,203.25. And I have that in writing. What's interesting about that is lessons that we've learned from Tennessee Municipal Bond. With the COVID-19 and the economy the way it is, interest rates have gone down considerably. This is the exact page of the middle school roof loan, which is a little over $1 million for 10 years. And the first year payback, that's what we'll be paying for the first year payment, $120,529. And then that would be $122 every year for the next 9 years at 2.92%. But what's interesting is when you go back to look at the cost, if you did this estimate with the football stadium, would be considerably less than the $1 million on the roof. And the county commission in last month's session passed to put the sales tax, half-cent sales tax on the referendum in August. I have talked to some of you, I know, and I've talked to Mr. Jewell about sometimes when people are thinking about putting a tax on them, they want to know what it's going to be used or what it's going to be. And some work that we've done in fundraising before, whether it be in athletics or be at church, a lot of people tell you that people are more out to donate if they know on the front end what it's going toward. So the idea that I'm asking here is, would it be worthwhile for us to say, if if the sales tax passed, then we would use our portion to repair the football stadium. And because that's estimated to bring in about $360,000 a year. Statute says that we get half of it. So you're going to get, $170,000 roundabout, which would very easily take care of that loan payment. And obviously you saw our fund balance from our budget, and we do not have the funds to go into fund balance to take on any type of project like this. So the idea is what I'm asking is the board, does it have any will to say, make a public statement and say, if this sales tax passed, then we would use our portion to address the football stadium. And I've asked Mr. Jewell that question, and he said you can pretty much do with your half what you want to do with it. So that's where that is. You know, we've been studying this for about 3 years. This is the second estimate that we've gotten. It's much better than the first one, when John Chaney estimated to take 1.7 million to retrofit the football stadium. This is the best price that we've seen out of 2 studies. So I will shut up and let y'all talk about it.
Clint, we would need more work than just the seating, don't you think? Like we've also talked about the pavement around there being uneven, and would we factor in and do everything that's needed at the football field?
This, Ms. Waller, is for just a stadium replacement. So this will bring it up all the ADA compliance, for which we're not in, you know, with the width of the stairwells, the handrails.
Right.
All openings cannot be more than 4 inches. So it's a whole new stadium.
Right. And I understand what this bid is, but I'm saying that when we go to do the stadium, wouldn't there be more to do than just this? Like, we've talked before about addressing the pavements uneven in places. I know it wouldn't be in this bid, but is that something that we would want to consider?
No, ma'am, I don't think so anymore. We've learned a lot from the Coat architectural bit of work that they did about 3 years ago. And one of the things that they talked about on the ADA requirement is both sides do not have to be ADA. All you've got to do is provide handicapped seating. It doesn't have to take place on the visitor side. So on the home side, as long as you've got the ramp and you've got handicapped seating, you're compliant. So you would not have to have a concrete sidewalk going over to the visitor side. And remember, in this bid, there is no handicapped seating in the 700 and something seats on the visitor side. We've put all that on the home side. So if there's a Tiger fan that's handicapped, he's got to sit with a yellow jacket.
I'll sit with a yellow jacket.
Yeah, right. And we're perfectly within compliance. What we've tried to do is we've tried to make this the most affordable that we can do, and address the issues that are at hand. Is the stadium is unsafe, and it doesn't meet ADA requirements, and it's a liability waiting to happen. So the idea is, do you want to spend $600,000? Oh, David thinks that when we bid that out, that concrete work, he believes that we can get it under $600,000. He thinks we can save $26,000 by getting somebody locally to do that concrete work and some of the demolition as well. But that's not what Bleachers and Seats said. So I want to give you what they said. I've got that in writing.
What's everybody else thinking?
Well, my opinion of it is that we need to be careful. We need to, we're not going to get any extra funding from the county court. Our fund balance is going to continue to dwindle. After 3 years, I think the handwriting's on the wall. If we want to protect our fund balance, this is the only new money that we can actually look towards. Personally, I don't think it matters that much to most voters, whether it's for a football stadium or not, but the school, I mean, we would just say the school would use it for school projects and that type of thing, and spend the money where it's needed. But again, I think we need to look at our fund balance going forward and what we expect there. Plus, it would be good to, and right now, I think what Mr. Satterfield's asking for is how to use it with the upcoming election. I think the main key with the upcoming election is that if it doesn't pass, it's going to fall on the backs of the 39% of us that pay property tax. That's the bigger issue there that should get this going. But I think that is moving forward with it. I'm not saying that it's not a good project. I'm saying it's something that we need to look at more. And I'd like to see more about the 10-year projection of it on payout or 5-year with the 2.9% and that type of thing. And I know we can't do that, but we could do it with we could save money on some concrete, but we could also do it with the bid that we've got in hand and just see what a payment would be.
And I can reach out to Tennessee Municipal Bond. They can run those numbers for us.
Right. I'd like to see that.
Okay. Yeah.
I would too.
And that's what, the only thing I had my hands on was the most recent roof amortization schedule.
Right.
I found that quite interesting, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's obviously a good time to borrow money.
Okay.
So, Clint, what are you seeking?
Well, what I was seeking is any type of public statement, and the board may not be ready for that this evening. The last time we talked about it was, let's take it to the education committee. And of course, COVID-19 hit, and we haven't had an education committee meeting, but we're going to have one a week from Thursday, the 21st. So we changed those around. So I would still think it's the will of the board to take this to the education committee.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely would. I can see both sides. I can see where I do feel like it would resonate with a lot of voters to get that stadium fixed. I just hear a lot of people talking about it, and we know that it needs it. But I also see what Mr. Kerr's saying too. It's not to lock ourselves in. If something came up and we maybe had to back off that and needed that money for something else in case in an emergency or a different something that would come up that would take priority, that you weren't locked in on that. I don't know at what point. I like the idea of it, of us using that money towards that. I think it's a good answer, but I can kind of see both sides of that, too.
Yeah, I think you still got another month. If you want.
That's what I was going to say. Do we have time if you could get us some more numbers on the 6,000? If you could contact the municipal bonds and see what kind of numbers they can, give us on that. Do we next month? Could we?
Yeah, we could get those. They'll run. I've done enough. I've watched the roof thing go. I mean, within 7 or 8 days, they can get you some numbers and stuff on that. Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll take it, Mr. Kerr, to the education committee next week.
2 weeks. Yeah. Oh, you're right, Nick. A week from Thursday.
Yeah. We'll take it to them and see where it lands, and then get an amortization schedule on it, and bring it back in June and let you talk about it some more. Does that sound? That would be some good information that we could also use at that committee meeting. You're talking about if I could get an amortization schedule? Yes, I think so. Yeah, I don't know if I can get it that fast, but we'll try. Okay. Thank y'all very much. Anybody else?
Guys, anybody else have any input on the stadium?
No, I'm with y'all. I agree with what y'all are saying.
I agree with y'all too. Yeah.
Okay.
We just need to make sure we slow walk this thing and understand where all this money's going.
Exactly.
Because you are going to get people going to say, they're going to be calling us up. Why?
Yep.
The big why.
Yeah, I think that if anybody's been in that football bleachers, I think they can appreciate that and the need. I've never gone to every time I go to a football game, all I do is get hit up for why we don't have handrails.
Yes.
Yeah. And I definitely think too that, you know, when they're talking about the why and I think they want to know what you're spending your money on. Like Clint says, at least we will have something to show. Like if it was something that maybe wasn't as visible as the football stadium, you know, then I think people even question even more, what are you doing with that extra money? You know, we would know where we put it in the budget, probably. But, you know, something like a football stadium, I think it's tangible and they see that and how we're using our money. And I think people could get behind that and support it. But I wouldn't want to be locked into it if something comes up before school time that might take precedence. You know, I don't want to lock in too soon, but I do like the idea.
But once we went into, you know, signing a contract,
right,
we would forever be locked in.
Right.
Well, if we tell voters that we're going to do it for that, we're locking ourselves in. Then.
That's right.
I know.
Or you're going to have to answer more of, you know, why'd you lie to us?
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
and that's what concerns me.
Yeah. The thing is, we definitely cannot go into fund balance to fix the football stadium. We all see that.
Nobody.
No.
No way.
So this was the only way to link some extra revenue to fixing that because, I mean, you see the results.
It's a worthwhile project. We just need to, I don't want to lock ourselves in on it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay.
But at some point, we would have, you know, like he says with the contract, when would we need to make that decision?
Anytime that's anytime y'all wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
Whenever y'all felt like that. The only thing is, you know, we talked in November. You authorized me to do another study. And, you know, just for anybody that's listening, you know, in November you authorized me to do another study to hire bleachers and seats to run that. And then I brought the results of that to you in April, but we did not have a turnkey estimate on the concrete and the demolition. And then I've got those prices together and I'm finishing that report.
Gotcha.
You've done a very good job because it's eye-opening that we can get it done for that price.
Listen, I was on the retrofit bandwagon. Always been on the retrofit. And they have proven to me that the retrofit is more expensive. And David Cawthon tries to explain to me how that's better. And I guess I understand it, but I didn't see it.
Just goes to show Mayor Carmen was exactly right. When we brought this up several years. He was. He actually got pretty close to that figure.
Yeah, actually his bid was a little higher.
Right. I said he was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, his $800,000 one.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he's close.
Yeah. I never would have thought that. I didn't believe him at the time.
Yeah, but even at the time of that bid, I never heard a funding source for it.
Oh, no.
I heard a price, but I never heard a solution.
Right.
That's the monkey in the tree.
We'll move on to employee appreciation. Last month, I believe the board authorized me to look in to some things that we could do for our employees' appreciation. I have put Amanda in charge of that. And what we have done, if you hadn't seen, is she's ordered tumblers, and they're really nice with our school logo on. And it's supposed to be a surprise, so I hope many teachers are not listening.
Amanda don't want to
put them in a box. We're going to put them in a box, and we're going to have them mailed to every employee.
Oh.
And And then also, we've also ordered our Teacher of the Year plaques and our Student Representative plaque. Our teachers who got value added in the prior year, we've ordered those, and we'll be shipping all of their awards to them. The only thing we didn't do is we didn't run the Employee of the Year elections this year since we're out of school. But all the all the things that we've had, we've bought plaques for, and at the end of the year, we'll be shipping those things to our employees. Is that okay?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Looks good.
Okay. And Madam Chairman, that is all that I have.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Any other questions about anything?
I've just got a comment. I went to the Budget and Finance meeting last night because there was a planning commission right after it. And I talked with Mr. Jewell and several of the commissioners afterward, and everybody was very appreciative of how well the budget system went this year, and how it looks like it's going to pass with votes to spare and everything, and everybody was just really happy that it wasn't like last year. And I agreed with them. And Clint, do we know yet what a penny's going to bring in? Dwight didn't know last night.
No, it's
I didn't know if you heard
estimated.
anything today.
We have not got the tax rate at the
They haven't either.
at the 92% rate. It's estimated to bring in 23,289 right now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
and
we're
they don't have it either, so that's the best we can do, but it's good that we all worked together and had a real good budget year. Work as far as working together, them and us.
And Mr. Curry, at the beginning, I highlighted the work of Mayor Chambers and
Oh, I agree. Right. You did. Yeah.
They've done an excellent job.
That's what I say. I'm glad it's really gone well.
And Mr. Kerr, I would have been at that budget meeting last night if needed. I called Chairman Jewell and asked him if he needed me, and he said there was no need to attend.
Oh, it wasn't. If I hadn't had a planning commission there at 7, I probably never would have gone.
But I would have been there if they needed me.
All right, guys. And we will see everybody, I guess, on Thursday night again.
Okay.
Looks like everybody managed the Zoom call well.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So
Yes.
congratulations.
It's pretty. I do miss seeing everybody.
I know,
Yeah, I do
me
too.
too. Maybe June we can shoot for our meeting, so we'll see. But we definitely want to keep everybody safe and follow guidelines and
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. So,
the county commission's meeting in person again, but they're trying to do social distancing. They've got their members spread out, and that's something we could do also.
we could do that in our boardroom. We could do that. Mhm.
Right.
Do that. So, all right, guys. Then we will talk to everybody then Thursday night, same time.
Okay, see
Same
y'all.
place.
Thank y'all very much.
Stay safe.
Thank y'all.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
guys too. See you
See ya.
soon.
See ya.
I'll see if I can work this thing.